And let's just say Sri Mataji's Maha Mantra, the third part of the Sastrara. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Sakshat Shri Sahasrara Swamini Moksha Pradaini Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Geshe Mataji.
Can I ask for a small favor, please? I want to start with, like any project, with Sri Ganesha mantra, if we are in this mood.
Yes.
Om
Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah.
Jai Shri Mataji, Jai Shri Ganesha.
Geshe Mataji.
Thank you for that unique experience. I will repeat it with my other guests. Very, very good idea. I remember,
Great.
yeah, I remember that um, as you maybe notice, I didn't want to distract you or to trick you, but I start the recording um,
Sure.
just for the I'm with Victor because she told me that she want to say hello.
Hi,
Hello.
good to see you. I heard you were not very well. I hope you're
Uh,
well now.
I am, thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely recovered. Thank
you look
you.
good. You don't,
Thank you.
everything is gone.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of those things that never expected, never really been ill, so it was like a big surprise for me. But something the body goes through, and I think also clearing something, obviously,
Yeah.
because I was in Brazil, which is the part of the left Vishudi, South America, and the pujas were powerful, the experience was powerful, and I think this was just a way of clearing something in that area. So hopefully,
I think
gone.
many people had something to clear out after this puja. You know, we have here another.
Yeah, I forget to tell you that I can report that I finished with my kidney stone. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah, yeah. Bye bye. Bye bye kidney
good.
stone. Yeah. So,
Anyways, nice to see you. I leave you to finish your stuff, and
Yeah,
it's nice to
yeah.
see you again,
Thank
Victor.
you. Me too. And I will always remember the hospitality in Romania, how you looked after me, and the beautiful things that you gave me things to bring back that were edible and really nice. And I really remember in particular, they were tomatoes. I remember they were prepared and
Yeah.
pickles and things like that. And I remember that kind
pickle.
Lakshmi touch was so sweet.
Well, you
Thank
have to
you.
come to New Zealand now
Yes.
and stay a few days with up here in the north. So, you know,
One day, who knows? My great desire in life is, in the later part of my life, is just to travel, and
oh,
see
don't
the
leave it too
world.
late because you can't after you if you leave it too late.
I hope.
Anyway, the
Thank
invitation is
you.
open. You can come
Thank
anytime
you.
you like
You're so
and
kind. Thank you.
to enjoy our hospitality again. Okay, all the best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Will be a shame to come to New Zealand and not stay a little bit longer because the travel it's so long. So the people come here and stay 2 days and after that go, which is a shame. I mean, you pay so much for the airfare and everything,
Yeah.
spend a lot of time on the plane, and after that just go back. It's happened to us in the beginning of Sahaja Yoga, but now we start to recover. So in less than a year, we've been in 3 overseas, and for us, overseas means overseas. I mean, real overseas. Australia is just 3 hours uh, far from us, but everything else start with 7, 10 hours easily.
Gosh.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, so we decided now, until we still a little bit in power, to go in different places. As it's happened, the opportunity it opened to us, and we've been Bali, Tanzania, Brazil. So boom, boom, boom.
Good
Uh,
for you. Good
yes,
for you.
but we have to recover now. So this 1 year at least we will stay. Victor, this recording which are doing now is just for domestic purpose. We won't put it, especially Delia came, and I forget Delia wants to came, because will be interesting to start a discussion with a meditation, but I don't want to stage anything. I don't want to start again and do a meditation. Just no. What we've done now, probably I won't upload it.
Okay.
We will stop the recording and start again when we start talking, because I want to tell you a few things about what I plan for these meetings, this meeting and the other meetings, if you want, if you will be available. First of all, you have the chance to
Awesome.
look on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Have you seen something or browse
I
a little?
haven't watched. I just had a look, and there's a variety. I haven't actually delved deeply into any of them, honestly, because yeah, I haven't had that kind of time. But well, we can, if you want to show it
No,
to
no,
me
no. I
now.
just tell you briefly the directions. So there are at least two or three directions. One, excuse me, is the experience in different part of the world, not only mine, but most of them mine, because I film a lot. But some other people which I know contribute uh, from England, for example. They send me little videos from Stratford, Cabela, but not too much. Most of them are from my um experiences, the
Right.
events,
Okay.
from New Zealand as well, quite a lot. Some
Hmm.
domestic one. So I film some of my puja at home, not to show my ego, but because sometimes I said different mantras or a set of names,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
I was hoping that people who are watching will be inspired to do a little bit more, not just stay in the box.
Yes.
That was the reason.
Yes.
Different other stuff. Delia and I spreading vibration around like coconut. The project coconut. We started long time ago, not now.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
different other stuff. And what I like it most are interviews or discussion or yeah, interactions. So
Yes. Yes.
this
Conversations.
is the part you will be in.
Okay.
Um, and I have, excuse me, with different people, depend of the topics we have, uh, between 5 or 6 meetings, uh, until I go with Luis Garrido over 10, because both
Okay.
of us like to talk. So he's Portuguese, so originally. So yeah, I'm not afraid of many episodes. I know we have materials. You are a gold mine. I tell you from the beginning. Don't take it wrong from the journalistic point of view. So you take the good part of this expression, gold mine. So
Okay.
what is my intention is to um, talk about the experience in Brazil from the Central Tour. I already spoke with Igor
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Tirleman and
Okay.
Gianni Rossi.
Okay.
With Igor, I have two episodes. The last one, I challenged him to sing a little bit on accordion and bansuri. And in that moment, I start thinking to multiple meeting or even a jam session. But that's, uh, I don't know, obviously
Well,
with some of you guys.
well, they one of the outcomes of the post Brazil tour was the formation of the Atma Collective, which is the musicians that of the central group together collaborating to do some recordings. So they're currently working on some of
Wow.
Gianni's tunes, I think. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Wow. I want this clips if it's possible. I will.
yeah. Yeah,
Should
you
I
should
talk with
ask
Gianni or
Gianni. Yeah, yeah.
should,
Contact,
yeah.
reach out to him.
But the recollection, the impressions from the tour, probably will be the last one. It's not my first intention. We start with that. Also, what I'm interested very much in, and again, it's up to you. Everything is up to you. I tell you what I wanted. You'll tell me
Yes.
what you want,
Okay.
what you believe it's so achievable. Um, your um, theater project.
Yes.
So, talking about the TV, will be a shame if we won't do it. So, for me, will be extraordinary to do that.
Yes, I think
starting
it's
from the
important.
beginning, going with the main phases in your project as a whole. I call it a project, everything.
Yes, yeah,
In my view, correct me if I'm wrong, you are the soul of that project. We don't have to be modest here because we have to tell the truth. So you are the soul of that project and you are the best one to talk about that. And you know the phases of the project, what you've done in the first phase, what you've done in the second. You are probably now in the fourth. I don't know. You will tell me because that's
okay,
are just assuming what I know, but I don't know too much. You will tell me.
I will.
And
All
I
right,
start in the reverse. And I want to start it with your not beginning in Sahaja Yoga, your beginnings in spirituality.
good.
You told me something about the background. You are free to talk everything, uh, every subject you wanted anytime. We don't have to keep that red line.
Okay, okay.
But that's what I
I,
projected to start. And when you see the other dialogues, not I don't call them interviews, although I ask some questions sometimes. You will see that's why what I that's the way I start with nearly everybody or everybody. What bring you not to Sahaja Yoga because you have no idea about Sahaja? What you bring you to spirituality when you are 5 or
yes,
12 or whatever? And I have some people, some of them I don't know, at least you I know a little bit. There are some people I don't know at all, Romanians, who told me some stuff. They said, okay, I never taught this kind of stuff to anybody. So this is me.
yeah.
Now,
I would love to do that. I agree with that. I think that's where I would start. I would wish to start as well.
okay, okay. So if you ask me, I will keep recording with
Okay.
Delia interruption, with us talking about our project. It's more how should I put it? It's a hajj. It's more natural than everything. So the many people ask me why I do that. So my first reason, it's history. It's a sense of history to people to see us as we are, because now I'm speaking with you exactly as I speak with you or in Brazil to in
Right.
our dinner.
Yes. Yes.
Nothing planned, nothing. Okay. So if you want to start, this is my first question to you.
Okay. I'm just going to mute my phone so it doesn't disturb us at all. Actually, okay. These devices. All right. Okay.
Have you done this kind of stuff before with someone?
Not really. Not a full length. Well, yes. In Brazil, they interviewed me, and I don't know whether they used it or not. But I enjoy talking about
Gustavo.
these subjects. Yeah, Gustavo. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is my competition. I'm joking. We are friends. No, no, no. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, there's so much to be said, and so many people in the world that need to be reached. I don't think there's any danger of being of saturation. You know.
Yes.
I think-
Yes. And you never say the same story, the same.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly, exactly. But that's also what I say to people when I run my public speaking courses for yogis in particular, that Sri Mataji never repeated the same talk and never used PowerPoint, you know. She
I've
spoke,
noticed that she speak about the same subject or the same subjects, one or two, in the um, public programs which are quite close to each other. Because I used to listen chronologically everything, so I've noticed. Shimataji speak yesterday about the Russians or everything. She started, but never ever using not only the same words, but the same uh,
Tone,
tone, and
and yeah,
every time is different. Tomorrow, if she speak about the same subject, we'll find another angle.
absolutely, yeah. And
So,
if you listen to that same talk again at different times,
oh,
you hear other angles. It's always like the first time. It's unbelievable.
and my humble advice is to read the transcript as well. So for me to have the full uh, understanding about the speech is to listen and to read the transcript. Um, Okay, we consider that we already start our meeting. For the few people
Right.
who are watching us, welcome to our discussion. You are in the middle of discussion. We already spent more than 20 minutes. So we are Victor Vertuni and Daniel Boston start a friendly discussion. I have to tell you that I know Victor for quite a while, but I never ever talk with him for more than probably 30 years, nearly close to 30 years, until this year when we meet together. To our surprise, I didn't recognize him in Brazilian tour. Now,
Yeah, we've changed a bit.
the people who are watching us now, they know nearly everything about our reasons, what's behind our project, what we want to achieve. I don't know. I used to say, I know where I start or we start. We have no idea where we go. Let's see.
I'm with you
So,
on the journey.
dear Victor, I couldn't wait to tell me everything, especially about the TV, TEV, not TV, the theater. For the people who doesn't know, we will reach there. But let's start now with a question. Your name is sound Italian.
Yes, that's right.
So, can you please tell me about the origin of your name?
Well, my father was Italian.
Yes.
He met my mother in England when he was posted there as a diplomat. And then we moved to Greece, where I spent my childhood. And I went to a French school, learned to speak Greek fluently and French fluently, and then returned to England when I was almost 10 years old and continued my schooling there, which is why I have this very typical British RP accent, and then after graduating from university in 1986, after a couple of well, in the in I spent time in London. And then moved to Italy. I moved to Italy in 1989 after my marriage to Monia Purna, as she's known in Sahaja Yoga.
Say again, please. I don't know her. The name?
Purna,
Purna.
Purna,
Yeah. Okay. Purna means the whole. Is the full moon usually, but means uh, like a
complete,
complete.
complete. Yes,
It's a famous mantra. If you know
yeah. It's
Purna
yes,
Madam,
yeah.
maybe we'll talk about that. Okay.
Right. Although she's, you mentioned the moon, she's very solar, as Italians are. They're very
Oh,
outgoing.
okay. Okay. Yeah, but that's a good complementarity.
Yeah, it is. It
You
is. It
know,
is. And
having the name. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I tend to veer towards the moonlight as the poetic soul, if you like. But so we are also juxtaposed in a sense in our natures. But anyway, coming back to this Italian side of things, uh, I didn't identify with that aspect at all because my father was an Anglophile. His own mother was English, and so they spoke English at home. And I think it was only later that I explored Italy. But to be honest, I don't feel I neither feel English nor Italian in particular because of this traveling, constant traveling in my life, and a sense of the sort of connections, the transversal connections on every level, but in between or across borders, you know, from food to culture to music. There's always been this sense of the awareness of borders and barriers when you actually turn up at passport control, you know, and then you suddenly realize. And but otherwise, you know, I felt very much a citizen of the world, as it were. Um,
I was feeling we will go there with a citizen of the world, but I have a feeling you will use those words. But I have a little angle here. Uh, Although we as Sahaja yogis, we by default are citizen of the world because we are the children of God, the children of Adi Shakti, which
right.
doesn't know borders, countries, everything. But there is a but. It's a good to explore a little bit this but. The fact that we are
Okay.
living in a country that's bring us a new responsibility, the
Mm,
responsibility for the country we live in or we feel a strong connection with, not as a country, but as a chakra, as a part of the virata. So here I dare to bring into
mhm,
discussion the fact that we have to be, some of us, not all of us, and not very much, but we have to be a little bit more aware about being the Sahaja yogi who are keeping this country, this chakra, uh, not alive, obviously, but trying to improve it. Let's put it like that. So
interesting.
that's my feeling, and I have that feeling not long ago, probably 15 years ago. I'm in New Zealand for 25 years,
Hmm.
but took me a while to adjust in New Zealand. I come when I was 46, I was old, not too much English. Not that I speak very well now, but you can imagine 25 years ago. Uh,
Yes.
so I have a strong feeling that I belong to that country, and I start doing a little bit more for the chakras and to worship more, give a little bit more attention to the deity of the country.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So for us, maybe thanks to us as well, to some Sahaja Yogi, the awareness of Sri Kartikeya as the Lord of the country. And we start pushing a little bit more for acknowledging the importance of Sri Kartikeya in the map of Sahaja Yoga, if you want,
How
because
interesting.
yes, everybody, okay, Sri Ganesha. Like I said today, I want to start with Sri Ganesha, if you don't mind. Like everything, you don't start a project without Sri Ganesha. So
Hmm.
anything. Uh, we used to say here in New Zealand, no Muladhara without Sri Ganesha and Sri Kartikeya.
Right.
Anyway, so
Right. Well,
that's
that
my
is a
angle.
well, it's a coincidence because recently I've been um, including the mantra of Sri Kartikeya at the beginning of my meditations. It's a
Yes,
real coincidence, but in literally the last week or so.
fantastic. Wow. Okay, another proof that the great souls think together. It's a joke now.
Right, right. Well, I've been looking
Only
forward to
only
this.
half a joke.
No, there's always you know, nothing is a um, coincidental,
No, no.
especially once the connection is made, let's say, through the Sahasrara, and one becomes an active part of that virata, as you say, and we have to assume that as a little cell or terminal of that beautiful tree um, of life, that we can vibrate in harmony with the breeze that that comes through, and somehow to feel more and more and part of that, integrating more and more, may have an impact in the wider world. And I feel sometimes Sahaja is a mirror of that, and I feel very much until we work through and eliminate internal conflict in the Sangha, we cannot preach or be exemplary to anyone else. So I think we become aware of that. I mean, internally, personally, but also amongst ourselves as cells of this virata. That's our responsibility in a way, and it also, in a way, makes sense of the challenges that we face and overcome. Hopefully,
Yes.
I mean, more and more, I'm listening to enlightened voices in the media, people who are, and the wisdom that is also being expressed through them. And I feel this wasn't the case 20 or 30 years ago, So there is a gradual elevation, I think, of consciousness, that you see glimpses of when the sort of apocalyptic media stories subside. There are occasional glimmers of light that give you hope, and that's even beyond the Sangha.
Yes. Just to add something to this side discussion, um, to be well understood is we do not say you have to be a nationalist or too devoted in a bad way to your country, because there are people who are out of Sahaja Yoga. There are people who are now over the top to their country. Then nationalism is it's again on top. With some little good things and probably more bad things. I don't know. But we are not going there. As Sahaja Yogi, we have to be above this kind of stuff and look as our place in our countries as something on a different level,
Yes, of course.
on subtle level. But we have to assume the fact that we are belonging to a chakra, we are belonging to a, and after that go and mix those chakra, not stay there. Not only physically, but yeah. So you need a little bit of openness to get that that point. I'm talking with people who are watching us, the few of them watching us. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's definitely the case that we ignore um, the nature around us and what
yes,
nature says to us, because essentially um, there isn't a hierarchy as such. If you look in a garden, garden can be full of a variety of flowers, and there is this cross pollination going on all the time, and a new hybrids in the evolutionary process. But the most important thing about a flower, something I reflected on recently, is that in its evolutionary process, flowers are designed to open their petals,
yes,
and they don't half open them.
no,
They
fully.
fully open them.
Yeah,
So every flower of every kind must manifest totally.
absolutely.
And in its manifestation, it then emits the fragrance.
Yes,
And then it a fruit is created, or a seed, and then it can propagate. If it doesn't open, it cannot fulfill that. And I think certainly where the arts are concerned, if they are a great means of helping those flowers or individual beings to manifest themselves fully,
yeah,
in order, and then you know be able to interact with other beings, and then you have this collectivity. But that process from introspection to expression is fundamental, and it's very much sometimes curbed and curtailed in our educational process. And I feel that, for me, what we're having now is educational systems that are gradually sort of becoming simply mechanisms to provide markets with the cogs for the mechanism, and the humanities are being relegated, partly because education is so expensive and now exclusive, and I feel it's really, really important, also within the Sangha, to recognize the importance of the arts and to propagate them, and have that plurality of the garden, nature's garden, and not to just simply have a kind of uniformity. Um, uh, and I feel that the respect, not only for one's national characteristics, but one's own personal, individual characteristics, and bringing them to flowering and fruition, is really important in a horizontal way, not just in its verticality.
Yes, and I can add here that also the accent on the education for the formation of the children, the pupil, as humans, as real educated humans, not technician, not cogs, like you very well said. So until the mid of the last century and a little bit more after that, the education was real, very general one, implying nearly everything, including
Yeah,
accent on music and other stuff. Like in antiquity, education without music in antiquity was nothing. Everybody have to know a little bit of music.
right, right,
So,
yes,
and after that, learn Greeks and Latin was a must. So, starting with the probably last quarter of last century, this kind of stuff, at least in my experience, start diluted. And I'm very sorry now because Shimataji said there are two sacred languages. One is Sanskrit, but the second one is Latin.
yeah, yeah,
And I was shocked. I expected Greek, but no,
yes,
because the Greek is very complex as well. It's like
yes,
English now. You can, yeah. So anyway, we
yeah.
divagated, and I'm very, very happy about. I don't know about you. I don't know about our viewers, but we start from your story with your parents and your time in Greek. I'm very curious. How long you stay in Greece?
I think it was 7 years,
Wow.
and from the age of 2.5 till nine
So it
years old.
was a good was a good print, I suppose, in your personality. I just suppose the 7 years in Greek from 2 to 9. It's quite
Yeah, yeah, and I had a few formative experiences, or let's say, I think milestones, the moments that are memorable, and I feel influenced me very, very much, especially, as a seeker, which is what we're going to come on to. But I
okay.
remember having an experience, my first, I think, spiritual experience, when I was very, very young. I don't know if I was 6, 7, and we were living in an apartment, and it was it had snowed, and I went out onto the balcony, leaned over the railings, and looked at this expanse before me, of there was a building that was actually being constructed that was covered in snow, Everything was white and quiet, that sort of cotton woolly kind of silence, literally a complete silence. And the sun was setting and it was pink. And I remember realizing that it was silent. And then suddenly the silence became inside me. So I was like silent inside and completely immersed in this moment of silence, in completely, I think, thoughtless. And I lost a sense of any specific identity. I became it. There was only the silence. And in that moment, I felt completely present and ecstatic. I would say it was like a continuous present that was only interrupted when my mother called me in and said, "It's cold, come in." And just after I had felt, I want to bring my mother out here to experience what I'm experiencing, that I couldn't verbalize, but it was a state of being real for the first time, of being present and free from any thoughts, any ideas that were being imposed on me in my upbringing, that I was also resisting, an identity that I didn't relate to, that was connected to various family conditionings like aristocracy, and all sorts of things. So I felt completely free and myself. And then it was interrupted by being called inside. So I went inside with the intention of bringing my mother outside, but that didn't happen. Later on, I escaped again and went outside, but that magic was gone. It disappeared. And it was a moment that led me to have a sense of hierarchy of experience. You know, that was like something that I wanted to experience again, and everything else was a bit disappointing. I remember I did have it again where by the seaside, but by the pier actually, in Salonika, Thessaloniki. I used to enjoy fishing with a line, and I used to sort of sit there for hours holding a line and waiting for the fish to bite. I remember I had that kind of experience again. But again, it didn't last, and I didn't know how to reproduce it. It wasn't available to me if I went back to the same place, same kind of light and atmosphere. It just didn't happen. There was a disconnect. You know, the sky might be completely clear, but my mind was active. So that kind of unity was oneness was not. I had another experience like that, but having experienced that made me very, how should we say, aware of other experiences that were supposed to be pleasurable, but really didn't compare. They didn't give me that sense of being myself and complete. And so I resisted the conditioning of my family conditioning. I was there was a sort of friction between me and my parents' worldview, which was a bit traditional, a bit elitist, and they were trying to sort of convince me that by birth there was a sort of social rank that I belonged to that was supposed to make me sort of destined for something greater in a worldly sense, that I always felt was a terrible imposition.
Socially,
So,
probably.
yeah, socially. And when we moved to England, that was a big shock culturally, because from having met very sort of, mostly people were very laid back and relaxed in Greece, a warm country, Mediterranean, very simple. Suddenly, I was sent into a school, and it was like very much, there was a lot of sort of aggression, a lot of ego, there was a lot of closed-heartedness. Um, and so gradually I insulated myself a little bit. And I was first, I went to a local state school, then I was sent to a boarding school at the age of 10. And there, in one of these English private schools, you end up very much in a sort of Lord of the Flies kind of situation, of really, you have to fight for yourself, you have to defend yourself, but I made a lot of friends. I had a lot of friends, and I didn't have really much difficulty. But I was also in the choir. I was also put in the choir, even though I couldn't read music. And this is where I had another very big experience. There was an older boy who played the organ, and he picked me out because my voice had broken, and he wanted me to sing at mass. He wanted me to sing a part of Handel's Messiah, and it's the passage which is very beautiful. I mean, I couldn't read any notation, so I learnt it by ear. Every time there was practice, the organ going, and I had to learn this song. But the words were, comfort ye, my people. Saith your God, and your soul shall be triumphant. And I remember learning it, and the day came to actually sing it. And for me, it had always been, who am I? I'm the messenger, I'm the messenger. Saith your God. So it's reporting, he said, so it's like in the third, but you're reporting what God said, and you're messenger to the people.
It's like third person, yeah.
Yeah, and so there we are. I was in my choir, dressed with my sort of little collar, and there I was, and all the incense had been sort of, there was a lot of incense, and suddenly the moment came, and I heard dun 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 da 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 dum 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 da 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 da. So I stood up and sang, comfort ye, my people. Saith your God, and your soul shall be triumphant, on a higher level. And what happened was suddenly I was no longer the messenger, but God was speaking to his people. And you know how the royalty, they say we, or in the and it was like God speaking in the third person, but speaking him to the people and giving comfort. And I was witnessing, suddenly I was just witnessing the divine singing through me, and I was just literally watching. I was no longer, it wasn't me singing, but God communicating through me. And I felt the cool breeze at that point. I felt a
11
flowing
years,
of,
11 years old or so.
yeah. And so I wasn't like, so it was like, and that was extraordinary because I remained in that state of grace, and I was looking around to see if anybody else was in it. And it continued, I think, till I went to bed, and I couldn't see any reciprocal spark in anybody's eyes around the chapel or even afterwards. So it was like a peak experience. So what happened was the next day I had to queue up after breakfast to get punished, a beating for something that I'd done. I think I'd sort of, in the night at some point been caught running to the kitchens to get some food out of and we'd been caught. And so, it's the punishment is deferred until Monday mornings, where you would sort of queue up after breakfast to be beaten, essentially. And I remember my turn, and you would hear, you'd hear the sort of through the door that was ajar, and the idea was you couldn't make a sound if you were a true man. You just took the punishment. And so my turn came, and he asked me, the headmaster said, "What have you done?" So he just had a list of boys to beat. So you had to say whatever. and so I could see that he was actually, there was something about it that he was actually reluctant. He didn't really want to do it because he'd been there in the front row on Sunday, as they were the hierarchic thing that and I think maybe something had touched him. But anyway, he
You have a job.
selected from there was an array of various kinds of sticks. There was like the cane one that was flexible. There was the hard walking stick, knobbled because it was made of canes. It had knobbles on it. There was then the most serious offences were done with an aerial of a car, and you would hear them going click, click, and opening, and then you'd get beaten with that. So I had to bend over and literally, and then you shake the hand. They shake your hand because like a man,
Friends.
you're taking a punch.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that was it. Anyway, that was kind of normal routine, and then I remember some maybe days later, I sneaked off to the library where it was very quiet and nobody would be, to try and sing again this magnificent Handel's Messiah. And I tried again, but it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go into that state of grace again. So after that, I had this continuous
Search.
life was disappointing. Nothing could come up to those peak moments. And sort of in Greece, I'd had this prelude, I suppose, of oneness, an experience of oneness, so beyond the agnia. And then I suppose this experience had been, the opening of somehow this central channel within me, because I felt the breeze. Didn't know what it was, of course, but I was seeking for it. And that's what led me. I had a lot of friends. We got up to a lot of stuff. But I was always a little bit a stranger among them because I felt a little bit separate, like this. I was seeking for this wholeness again, and so eventually I got expelled. I moved to a public school. Eventually, I got expelled together with a few others who are in Sahaja yoga actually now. So I think it was a rite of passage, a mark of distinction rather than disgrace, ultimately, Um, and I won't go into that, but basically, yes, there was this constant seeking for experience, for something more than just the normal hedonistic kind of sources of so-called pleasure that were complete and utter disappointments compared to these peak moments. And I'm very grateful for these peak moments because I was never deluded or lost in anything else, because you tasted the real Amrut somehow. And speaking of Amrut, behind me there is this kind of beautiful Jacob's ladder, a sort of spiral staircase leading to heaven. And what often is missed about this beautiful is the fact that the figures are ascending, but not only ascending. Once they have filled their jars with Amrut, they return downwards, presumably to nourish others, to give of the cup of eternal life to others. So what you were talking about earlier, this responsibility that we have, not just for our own growth, but for our fellow human beings, is actually in the end what leads us to ascend. We cannot, I find personally, it's very, very clear that you ascend more, and the connection is increased by sharing it. And I think that's something that Blake was communicating to us.
Obviously,
Yeah,
it's a two-way trip, at least at this stage. I don't want to speculate. A lot of people are thinking we have to go there, we stay there, or we come back. I don't know. That's happened after we finish with this life. I used to joke with Delia, or to put that question, what are we doing? We are going there, we stay, or we come back. But that is not a serious discussion. I have no idea if we want to go serious on that one. I have no idea what I will do. I have no idea what will be. What I know is that I have a huge respect for the old rishis, which for me, I'm very passionate about old rishis, uh,
right.
and because they are, in a way, let's use this expression, are self-made, in a way.
Mm, mm.
Obviously, they are touched by God, um, but on the other hand, you cannot take from them the discipline and the desire to to reach,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah, to reach the absolute. And for them
absolutely.
was much harder than for us. We are given the realization like that, and what are we doing with that? Maybe it's not the time to discuss this kind of stuff, only on the personal level. I don't want to go on generality, but
It's
helping
true.
others, helping others in different way, everybody in his way, own way. um, it's paramount. It's paramount because in the end, that's our job here. I mean, part of the job. The first one it's us, and the second one is them. It's
Yes.
no is like in Jesus. You have to love God, but you have to love the neighbor as in the same measure, equally. It's not one more than another.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. It's true. It's true. Very
But I
true.
love I love the way how our discussion goes, uh, going from the biographical side to the philosophical one, and reach points we never thought we reach subject, or yeah. I feel like in meditation, my friend. I mean, I don't want to say more.
I believe that because for me, conversation in the Platonic sense or the Socratic sense, this kind of dialogue is an ascending one, in which you move towards the essence of things. And when it's a dialogue, uh, it's also, and you find points of meeting, then you are beyond the ego in a sense, and you are entering into that collective realm. And it's a celebration of our awareness, if you like. And it's spontaneous and creative. And I think, the imagination comes into play. We're not following a linearity dictated by the rational mind, but it's much more encompassing. And it becomes a dance, a duet, not a monologue.
Yeah. Um, for for a waltz, you need two. So yeah,
Sure, sure.
I didn't say tango because the expression is with tango, but I prefer waltz. You,
Yeah, yeah. But I do believe that tango, if it's performed in a way, can represent something very, very interesting, which is the interplay between the male and the female archetype energies.
Yes,
And so, you know, in the artistic sense, and, you know, it can be performed in a way that is, how should we say, ascending rather than leading you into into purely sensual. I feel that it can be seen in. I think many art forms can be transformed. There is a element where they can become, how should we say, conducive to an ascent rather than a descent. And you know, so I feel it's up to the artist and his connection and sensitivity to use the genre in a way that can produce vibrations and be in line with the values of the eternal values that are at the root, you know, of existence,
absolutely.
sustains.
I couldn't wait for the Sahaja Yogi choreograph to show me that, because unfortunately, the tango is synonym with sensuality, like everything else in our world today. Everything is touched by
Corrupted.
yes,
Everything's
corrupted. Everything
corrupt.
is corrupted by that. Looks like we are going back to our animalic uh, uh,
Sure.
stage, instead of going up and find a higher level of enjoying everything. So if you see the naked statue from Greece, they have nothing sensual in them. They have a
Uh,
pure body. You there show everything, really everything, but you don't feel that expression. And you go in 19th century, and all the naked bodies have this touch of sin
yes. Yes.
or sensuality, which is a shame. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. The intention, it's the intention with which the artist invests in whatever he creates, and I feel this also with more recent born realized souls, especially in the music world. There are some who, irrespective of their personal lives, that of course, you know, um, can be very much, how should we say, you know, the realized souls still, they focus on the positive
yes,
and on the universal.
yes,
And I mean, I can think of, you know, there's quite a few that, you know, if you see how they lived and how they died, you'd think, God, you know, this isn't a realized soul. But then you realize that somehow in the music they'd kept the purity and the passion, and their music has vibrations. So, but I think the calling of an artist today, once they become conscious of, how should we say, and you know, the connection that, I mean, you know, they are aware of, let's say, they recognize, you know, they've received they, how should we say, they practice their art within Sahaja Yoga, you know, um, then that changes. That changes. I think um, artists within Sahaja Yoga, the realm of Sahaja Yoga, as yogis, recognize that they have to um, maintain themselves, let's say, in harmony, their instrument in harmony with the divine will. And the divine will is, how should we say, there's the safeguard of Dharma for our ascent. And I think those eternal values, I think that's why Sri Mataji gave the name Theatre of Eternal Values to the theatre company that she, you know, initiated, so that the notion of artistic expression is always connected with eternal values, essentially, which is the dharma of the universe. Um, and in setting up a theatre company, she gave her blessing and guidance to all the arts in that sense, because theatre is a composite art form, which includes the other arts potentially in a kind of interaction, a conversation.
Yeah.
That, for example, Blake regarded as being, the whole purpose of art was to integrate the art forms into a complete form of expression that could reflect the entire existence. That was Blake's idea, and he did it as the multimedia artist of his time, with all the means available to him in the pre-digital age, combining words with images in an organic form and in a single unitary creative printing process that he evolved, and himself. And the whole thing was to have this integration. So I feel the integration of the arts in a theatre company is very much representative of the unity of the world, a sort of transcultural world community, and it's multidisciplinary, but it's also transcultural. Theatre is to create that space in which there is that interaction where the multicolored tapestry of oneness can be woven in a way that is not predetermined, but through genuine interaction in the present moment. And that is still evolving, and we have yet to see. But for me, the idea of a theatre company is almost to create a sahasrara, kind of place where every single petal of this amazing creation can interact and produce something that's constantly evolving. And I feel that to me that links the artistic creative process completely with the experience of Sahaja yoga, which is a continuous flux. It's a drawing from the source, which is like a continuous magma of power and energy, and giving it form and forms. So the setting of that form can take place when it cools down. You have a certain form, but then the magma is still going, and other forms will be created in other circumstances and other situations. So I feel, we can't get set in our ways, and even forms of worship should always have that element of surprise, of spontaneity, of where the heart can express itself in a free way, and not always in the same formula.
I didn't expect anything less from you. So you put it you put it very well. My angle, because I know you expect to have something to say about that, eh? My angle is that we are still on the process of becoming true artists. I'm talking about the Sahaja Yogi. We are still in that process. I'm not talking about particularities. I'm not talking about one person or one direction, but especially in music, less in theater, especially in music, I believe, and in composition, more in composition, I believe we still have a little bit more to work. That's my take. That's why I prize we were lucky in our southern tour to have professionals. Kinga, professional dancer. The vocal, Ram, also a very good one. The singers, perfect. But when we reach the seminar, the center, and we listen to everybody, it's not good to do classification, but for me, although it wasn't perfect, the group from center, I don't know, I don't want to use was the best, but somewhere there. Anyway, I like it the most. Why? Because they integrate everything. Saying that, I cannot say that singing classical stuff in classical way is not good. This is a place for that one. But we have to be creative. We have to be innovative. We have to do a synthesis.
Right, right.
So that's why I was talking with Gianni as well, because he was a driving force in that direction. I play his music a little bit, although the sound was bad, not good with my recording. We have recorded officially, but that's why I'm talking with you. So,
Yeah.
but I believe, not in your case, but in other case, we used to talk here with Delia that usually the Sahaja artists, especially when they compose or they sing, sound a little bit the same. So
Mhm.
not too much. Even so, classical is classic, have his own place, but the original follow
Yes,
more or less in the same register.
yes, yes, yes.
So, and when it's coming to theater, I don't want to give advices, but I believe we should start. So we should put a little bit more accent on comedy. So we don't. I'm talking about as Sahaj in general. There are a lot of exceptions. All my friends are exceptions, but there are a lot of stiffness, a lot of afraid of not saying something wrong, a lot of afraid um, to laugh,
Yes,
to make fun.
yes, yes,
So
yes. True, very true.
and another small observation from what you said. I make some notes because I don't want to interrupt you. Speaking about the big artists, the one who are touched by the wing wings of an angel, and there are a lot of those. That's a lot of
Yes,
contradiction between the life of the artist
yes,
and the opus, the
yes,
the
yes,
work
yes.
of the artist. Um, I know the work of the artist is also maculated a bit by his way of living, but I still enjoy it.
Of course.
I'm still enjoying because I have the feeling. I have the good feeling. Okay, that was me with my observation. Nothing, nothing more. So
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, you know, true talent. I mean, there's a lot of musicians, there's a lot of music, but there's also a lot of channeling of other people, and genres. The actual innovators and the people who are truly creative. That's something else. They create something, and people listen because they have whatever it is. That's that talent and that creativity. Often the ability to compose and to create. And when you say there's a lot of similarity amongst the music that we can hear, I mean, the thing is, you can't. It is a gift, you know. Um, it's natural to emulate, but then when you've emulated, then you have to create something with it and do something of your own.
Yeah.
And that impulse is something internal to people. You can't,
Yeah, force
it,
it. Yeah, you
I
can.
feel it's
Yeah.
something that you're born with. It's innate that you can or not cultivate. Um, it's there, and you can spot it. You can hear it. I mean, I can hear it when somebody opens their mouth and I hear the first note or two notes. You know, and you can see the potential, even if they're not formed or trained, or do it. And those are the things. And there are others who are accomplished who leave you cold. So. And it's nice, it's pleasant. Any form of expression and music is great, it's wonderful. That's the world should be full of it. But something that really, is it gives you an experience and which is transformative, is not that common, you know. And it needs to be cultivated and worked on, and I think we need to have conditions in which talent can grow and evolve and be encouraged, and so that within our Sahaj culture, those voices can reach larger audiences, and we need to cultivate it, recognize it, and cultivate it. Um, Shimataji said artists are the most beautiful flowers of creation. I think something like that. Um, but flowers are delicate as well. They need to be, um, nourished and respected. I mean, William Blake himself, the Maha artist, you know, also went through his moments of isolation
Yeah.
and even nervous, what he called nervous fear. You know, um, it was frustrating that he wasn't appreciated in his own time, and he did express that frustration, because a true voice, something is challenging. People don't always recognize or understanding. And I think it's the same thing. Um, if somebody comes with their song that they've created and they go on a stage in a sort of evening program and are there and share it, it's a moment of self-revelation. Um, and I think we should have more encouragement of creativity and talent, pre-judgmental, in the sense that that we create conditions in which people can express the impulse that comes from their heart, even in conversation, even in collective moments. Otherwise, we end up with a comfort zone of mediocrity.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mean that in any denigrating sense. I mean, children are free from those kind of social constrictions, and that's why they're so compelling. They are, in a room, a child comes in, and suddenly it attracts everybody's attention. Not because it's performing, but simply it's
Yeah.
being,
Yeah.
and it has that flow of natural presence that attracts people, and gradually we sort of become much more guarded and restricted and narrow in our wave band of communication as we grow older. And I feel that Sahaj society should be a complete renewal of joy and freedom, so that we can manifest our individuality and celebrate it, because those different flowers in the garden all have a fragrance, and they must be allowed to open up their petals, and under a benevolent eye of the elders, a bit like the sun. When the sun, um, rays touch, appear in the morning, the sunflower gravitates towards it and opens up to it. But if the sun is too hot and too harsh, those petals can also dry up and get shriveled. So I feel our eye of benevolence should shine on God's creation in all its variety, and allow it to grow. I feel, you know, we think of Sahaja sometimes as a culture which is different, but it's not. It's creation itself manifesting.
Absolutely. Sometime I want to ask everybody who I'm talking with what is Sahaja Yoga. But we miss that part of the discussion, and it's not the place now to ask you what is Sahaja Yoga. But but um, talking about the Sahaj culture, it's a very not dangerous, but sorry, I didn't. I lost your sound.
It's moving.
Yes, now I
Okay,
can now I can hear you. It's a tricky subject because everybody understands something else about Sahaj culture, like nearly everybody understands something else about Sahaj Yoga. So I learned very late in my Sahaj life that sometimes the only thing who are common between two Sahaja yogis are just Shimataji, nothing else. They are so different.
very
Uh,
true. Very
like you
true.
said about diversity, it's good to be diverse. Will be even boring. I remember even Shimataji said, "How will be to be everybody the same? Will be terrible, horrible." I'm not advocating that, but um, the Sahaja Yoga culture, again, it's understand different by everybody else, by nearly everybody. Coming back to our, and maybe we should touch the subject one day if we'll come in the discussion. But I want to come back to the artists, which are sensitive, and an unsensitive artist, it's an oxymoron. It's not possible because by default an artist is a is a sensitive person,
Right, right.
and all the Sahaja yogis are sensitive persons. All the Sahaja, because otherwise they won't be Sahaja yogi. Even one like me who are characterized by being all right, I'm very left-sided, but it's not easy to spot. The artists, the artist you talk about, we have to take care. It's perfectly true. But what you painted, what you describing is more like an artist which is not Sahaja Yogi. So from a Sahaja Yogi artist, for example, I was looking for more self-awareness. Do not be dragged by the emotion too much because he's Sahaja Yogi. He have to use the right side a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So
But
uh,
the pool of inspiration. I mean, um, if you like, the left side is desire,
yeah,
and inspiration that takes form through the right side. So technique, I mean, you need to have the two working together.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. You spoke at some time in the same sentence about the harmony and the dharma. I don't want to interrupt you, but not sure if you can see there. That's Shimataji's drawing, and I used to meditate on that one. And the first petal number one, which is going down,
mm,
which is I call it the root of the root. Uh,
yes.
the first quality in the first petal, who go down, who
Yeah, I
yeah,
see it.
yeah, is harmony. So harmony is the very first quality of the very first petal of Muladhara. And the last one is Dharma on the fourth petal who go on top. Anyway, there in this drawing you can find everything, all the chakras, all the qualities. So advise people who are watching us to pay a little bit more attention on that one and maybe meditate and takes the qualities good for Muladhara. Just a thought when you talk about the harmony as a very good quality in our artistic life.
Yes,
We are talking more now about artists than the other. I believe we touch. So I have all my comments who I wanted to tell you, except one. Speaking about the diversity of the music. I remember watching a lot of Shimataji's videos. I'm not sure if I'm wrong, but Shimataji cried 3 times in the videos. One, I was there in Bulgaria when we meet her for the first time. Another one was in Italy after a public program when she crossed the hall and everybody, non-Sahaja not Sahaja the public was showing so much love to Shimataji, then she cried. And the third one was in a house full of Sahaja who sing Italian songs.
Yes, in Rome ashram.
In
Yes,
Roma ashram, they start singing funiculi, funicula, o sole mio, all this kind of stuff. Touch Shimataji so much. Then I suggest to some people, go a little bit out of your repertoire. Yeah, but
yes, yeah,
why?
but you know, I witnessed her talking about this in Gmunden in 1986 in the evening program before the Guru Puja, and that was the first time that I performed Blake um, in Sahaja Yoga, and I came with a costume that was like a sort of costume that had been pan painted, and I had my guitar, and Robert Hunter uh, was on the projector projecting the slides of the songs of innocence and experience, and I performed them to Shrimataji, and very tentatively because it wasn't something that usually occurred, you know. And she was very complimentary. She praised it, and she said things that I believe are kind of seminal for anybody who's practicing art within Sahaja Yoga, because it showed um, uh, the connection, if you like, between the art as an instrument, an evolutionary instrument, and yoga, and I would like to just share that. I don't know, maybe in a future. I have little clips of that, but
Oh, yeah.
essentially, she was talking about how the performance had shown the 4 dimensions of art, um, and the integration of the heart and the brain, and how the emotions were there too, and also the control. And so this idea of um, emotions as being a source, if you like, of of a flow that just needs to be, you know, it's part of it. And she said that it would make people understand things at a deeper level, and that she wanted more programs of that kind. I have the actual quote. I didn't have it ready for today because I didn't know we'd touch on it. and there should be more programs of that kind in the future. So I took that as being a prompt from her to continue with that, and we have done that in Theatre of Eternal Values with these hybrid productions in which they are thematically connected with spirituality universally, because we draw from many of the great poets and seers, their texts from different cultures, and putting them and interweaving them with music and choreography and also visual projection. So trying to create this integrated form of art that appeals to different hemispheres of the brain, if you like, or zones, of the cognitive, if you like, orientation that people have, So if you have that completeness, you'll reach somebody at some point, and with the aim of elevating people to a state where they're in connection with their own inner true self, and with the all-encompassing, all-pervading form that so that meeting point, if you like, can occur when a certain vibration and resonance is created in performance, and so Shimataji, I believe, encouraged experimentation,
Yes.
And that we should explore all these different dimensions.
This is all about do not be afraid to experience with wisdom and obviously trying to go deep in the meanings of stuff. You said something about the clip and the quote. Do you have something to share? You want to share, or you give me and I will put the share. I don't know how, if it's working from your
Yeah.
side.
Yes,
Uh,
it is. I'm just if I can find it. If I can find it.
if you don't find it now, we can make sure that we come back to the subject.
Yeah, I do have it. I do.
Fantastic.
This is synchronization.
Okay, I have it. I have the exact clip that I was referring to.
Fantastic.
So let me just open it up. Okay, now I need to share, if you allow me to share.
Yep.
Gosh, this is exciting. This is unplanned. You've disabled it, so you need to click share. The bottom, and it says you'll have to say, "Allow me."
Just a second.
Next to the heart, there's a button.
Yeah. No, I'm on the share. I'm on the share. And had host tool for share.
Yeah.
And all participants.
Okay.
You should.
Okay.
You should be
Okay.
able now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, here we are. I'm going to share it.
Synchronization and also integration of poetry, of acting, of projecting the film and the music. So well synchronized, and that gives the complete dimension of every expression. Tiger is a very famous poem of William Blake. Everyone knows the tiger, but now I saw it for the first time. And the controlling power also. May God bless you all. Kind of a four-dimensional expression. Will settle lots of things within your minds, I think. Emotions are there, and it's an audio-visual understanding. and can be combined together, heart and brain, and the attention together. It's a very good work done. I hope you all can think on those lines. Next time, I hope I'll have more programs on these lines. May God bless.
There you go.
Yeah.
In London, a few weeks later, she visited Lee Street ashram. Ashram, it was a house that at the time we got from the council. It was actually completely it was like, mother was in town and she wanted to come and, have a rest and have something to eat, So suddenly that morning we heard that she was arriving, and so we prepared the whole place, and carpets had been brought and saris had been hung and to cover the sort of slightly flaking walls, and mother sort of arrived and she was upstairs, I remember, and for a moment I was just with her on my own, and she said to me how, again, she praised the performance in Gmunden and the theme, Blake and all that. And then she said one thing could be improved. And there was this pause, There should be more people on stage.
Okay.
And that advice was golden. And so from that moment on, I've always tried to include and have, rather than me just singing on my own, have other members, other musicians, or try and even encourage productions in which more people are involved, because essentially we're in the era not of individual excellence, but of a collective achievement or accomplishment is somehow the zeitgeist, or let's say the whole aim of the exercise, and so that then followed into, I suppose, mother creating a theatre company, and so these were milestones towards that. In fact, the year after that, we had this production again at Guru Puja, but in England, in Shudi camps, in which ambitiously the play's aim was to show the evolution of spirituality, so passing through every major incarnation and whatever. And there were like dozens of people on stage, and there was music, and there was light, and there was it was collective. And then at the end of it, Sri Mataji actually intervened, and she re-choreographed the final dance with the yoginis who represented the culmination, if you like, of human evolution, with a choreography of the Sahasrara. She actually showed them how to hold their saris up like petals, and she showed them. So she directed, you could say, redirected it, and we repeated the dance. So Sri Mataji, after that, she said, again, she said, I can see this is a new form of theatre, a new form of art that will, and she said, I foresee a time when a drama society will be created to spread Sahaj all over the world. And of course, 10 years later, not 10 years later, this was 1987. In 1995, in Kabbalah, she created Theatre of Eternal Values.
Yeah, my pause was because I was writing this piece of information, not to forget them and to be like polls in our future discussion, because I want to talk only about that subject on one day, starting with the history of the theater. But
Right.
like our history in Sahaja Yoga start before we get a realization, what you told me now, that's exactly the same, was the pre-history of the theater. So
Right.
to touch all the jalons, all the
Yes.
pillars,
Mouth. Yes.
we have to come back one day. Fantastic things you told me, and from the perspective of the biography, your biography, we obviously jump all over the place, but I intend to come back.
Okay.
So because I don't want to be tired in our discussion, and our viewers anyway, they look only small 20 minutes, but even that I don't want to have long.
Sure. We can come back to that because actually I apologize for the interruption of suddenly my WhatsApp intervened because my wife Purna, my accomplice in these adventures, is calling me. So probably we have to take the dog out or something like that.
Yes.
The call of nature.
Yeah, that's another important thing. We have to be careful. So, Victor, with the promise that we will come back, at least from the biographical point of view, we have to come back in England, because after that we go back in Italy. After that, I want to tell me about your realization and all this stuff. I love them because it's like a movie which is done on the at least two plane, uh, with the biographical stuff, but interjection of different things who happened in your Sahaj life, or even non-Sahaj life, but more in Sahaj and artistical life, which are intertwined with the Sahaj. So there are layers over
Yes.
layers. I love it. So we,
Great. Yeah, let's do it again. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really enjoyed it, and thank you very much for the opportunity to share some of this. Thank you.
I thank you very much, and I thank you to people who are watching us, and encourage them to send us the feedback and everything. So, my dear Victor, thank you again for your time. Thank you for everything you told us, and let's hope that we will meet together soon as possible to continue.
I hope so too. Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure.
Jai Shri Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji.